Hi, this is Anna Imagination with a Healing Garden. Thank you so much for joining me. And this is Shifting Perspectives. I am going to talk today about toxic beliefs, but I'm specifically going to cover all the types of toxic beliefs that there are. Now, this is shit that I made up to help you basically use this as a tool so you have a better way to navigate all of the thoughts in your head. And this is something that we all run into is you've got thoughts in your head. And one moment, I like to have a notebook when I write. Otherwise I write on the table. We all have beliefs in our head. And the problem that a lot of people run into, the overwhelm, is how do you even begin to sort out all the beliefs in your head from random thoughts? I saw something somewhere that said, this is yesterday, that said we think about 80,000 or 150,000 thoughts a day. Something up there. Like, it's crazy. And so when somebody first sat down with me and said, well, you need to confront your limiting beliefs, I was like, well, what the hell does that mean? And saying something like that and then leaving a person without any kind of direction, I think is the biggest flaw that we have in our mental health facilities right now, is this generic shit that people say and then, well, get to it then. Good luck with that. And I don't do that. That's bullshit to me. That's where there's the problem. I don't do the whole, all you need to do is find your limiting beliefs and get rid of them. There is a Monty Python thing called, and now for something completely different. And there is a skit where, I love Monty Python. There is a skit where it is, I can't remember the name of this particular skit, but the whole thing is a radio show where people go on and they're experts in their field and they teach people in less than 2 minutes how to do something. And they have on a guest speaker, and the guest speaker steps in, and this is a professional flute player. Go ahead and teach us how to play the flute in 2 minutes or less. Well, all you have to do is blow through the little holes, and then you move your fingers up and down really fast, and there you go. That's all there is to it. Oh, thank you so much for that. And it's just, it's hilarious. And then it's followed up with, and next week we're going to learn how to be a gynecologist. And that's exactly what I feel like a lot of people out there do. All you have to do is find your limiting beliefs. There you go. It's easy. No, it's not. So this is the place where I actually give you the instructions so you actually know how to do this shit. So, eliminating limiting beliefs. The first thing we're going to eliminate is the word limiting, because that's bullshit. Limiting implies that it's a glass ceiling. And that is true for some beliefs, but that's not the problem. We are not eliminating a belief that is just holding us back. We are targeting beliefs that have absolutely no fucking business being in our brains to begin with, because they're toxic, because they're absolutely detrimental to our own growth. So there are several variations of limiting beliefs. There are self-destructive self-destructive beliefs. Self-destructive beliefs are beliefs like, I can't. That's a really great place to start. Those are I can't beliefs. And I'm going to say this a million times over again. If you now is not the time for me to lose my train of thought. Let me think for a minute here. Ah, damn. I'll get it. Just give me a minute. I remember now. The information I give to you is a tool. It is not a label. It is just a tool. It is not official. It is just a tool. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't help you, it's not meant for you. So this whole session today is just a tool to help you get over this, overcome this challenge. So literally take this as it's just one more piece of equipment you can use. Try it out. If it works for you, fantastic. If it doesn't work out for you, then disregard it. So that being said, this is not etched in stone. This is not this is the way. That's not what we're doing here. So we're going to start with self-destructive beliefs. Self-destructive beliefs are beliefs that are directly affecting just the individual, just your identity. These are I can't beliefs. These are self-loathing, like name calling, like I am beliefs. And anytime you put a negative belief or a negative subject onto any of those, that's it right there. So it's the I can't do X, I can't X, I am stupid, I am lazy, I am anything like that. Those are called self-destructive beliefs. And those are the first types of belief that they're so toxic. They do so many different things. The first thing they do is they manifest all that shit. So every time you say I can't or I am something negative, you're actually manifesting your own failure into existence. This is where the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy comes from. Yeah, it's true. In my manifestation classes, I get into the physics of this, and I show you how words actually affect physics. So that's the first thing. And actually, I'm going to go over in this here as well, because words, beliefs, and energy are all intertwined. So that's the first thing, is self-destructive beliefs. These beliefs always come from a third party, usually your parent, almost always your parents. These are the expectations, parental expectations that your parents put on you. Basically, your parents think they are stupid, or your parents think that they are failures. So they self-project, and they turn their self-projection into your expectations. Got it? And their self-projection of your expectations become your self-destructive beliefs. So I'm going to say all of that one more time to break it down for simplicity. The simpler something is, the more it clarifies the truth. In simplicity, there is truth. Your parents have self-projections that become expectations that turn into your self-destructive beliefs. So once you start locating all of these self-destructive beliefs, you can easily tie it back to, this is an expectation somebody put on me because so-and-so was self-projecting their own failures onto me. They made their problems about me. And that is the real crux there. That's going to be the new belief that replaces the self-destructive belief. Your self-destructive beliefs are somebody else's projection of themselves. They made their problem about you. I need to write that down. So you got dragged into somebody else's problem. One day, very soon, I'm going to have a whiteboard, and I'm going to write shit on my little whiteboard while I talk to you. And as I do this, it's going to make everything a lot easier. The other type of toxic belief are what I like to call co-parasitic beliefs. This is where things get real fun. Co-parasitic beliefs are actually false beliefs on how you define love. Love is defined by caring for something as a means to celebrate your identity. Most of us have learned instead that love is being used. There's another type of person, a very specific type of person, where love equals using people. If you love me, you'll let me use you. Those people are called narcissists. If you associate, I am loved when someone is using me, well, that just made you a narcissistic enabler or an empath. Here's how this works. Basically, the concept of love was taken away from us, and the new definition of love was supplanted into our brains. The toxic belief, I'm not loved unless I'm serving someone, is deeply rooted in a concept that if somebody wasn't taking away from you and using you parasitically, you were not acknowledged. We confuse love with being visible, being seen, being wanted, being validated. We associate unlove with rejection, neglect, and abandonment. I need to just pause for a minute. I was recording a video yesterday and I completely drew a blank on the word neglect and I could not remember it. I'm like, rejection, abandonment. What was the other thing? Neglect. And yes, it took me like 12 hours to finally remember the word neglect. So being loved is being visible, being seen, being wanted, and being validated. Being unloved is associated with being rejected, neglected, and abandoned. Now, this is not love. This has nothing to do with love. And as a result, because this definition of love is completely malformed, distorted, it's disgusting what's been done here. Love is actually caring about something in celebration of you. It is a celebration of your identity. That is love. And that is true for people also. But when we get into the being used, visible, seeing, unwanted, validated, rejected, neglected, abandonment cycle, that's actually fear. That is fear in disguise of love. That is what I call in fear. You've heard the terms, I'm in love with you. Well, most people are actually in fear with people. They're in fear with people. When you have that euphoric falling in love, what you're really experiencing is the euphoria of being visible. You feel that way most likely because you associate being used with being loved. So you're just thrilled someone can see you because you've been absolutely ensconced in expectations that you don't exist anymore. No one actually sees you, ever. Even the people who are closest to you never actually see you. What they see is a bunch of expectations. What they see is a bunch of conditions. What they see is a bunch of behavior and masks and defenses that you've been forced to wear just so somebody will spend time with you. That is not love. That is the slave master narcissist pandemic. Now, the core belief for this is co-parasitic belief. And the belief is actually love-based. It's actually a malformation of the definition of love. It's actually not a belief at all. If we sit down and actually look at the layout of our belief system is like the third. Our beliefs are based off of what we love and what our ethics are. Our beliefs come in third. So it's what you love, what your ethics are, and what your beliefs are. So there's a lot of toxic beliefs, but you can also have toxic ethics and you can also have toxic love. And the narcissist targets the definition of love. They don't go for the beliefs, they go for the love. And they supplant how you define love. And as a result, your ethics reflect what you love, and then your beliefs start to reflect what you love. So while we're all fishing around in our thought process, thinking that it's a thought that keeps us completely enslaved to narcissists, it's really our love that is keeping us enslaved to the narcissist. So you can challenge your toxic belief all you want. You're not going to get rid of narcissism and codependency until you go back to the source, which is love. So your definition of love needs to change. And that has nothing to do with your love, with your belief system. That has to do with your feelings. That has to do with your feelings. The toxic belief in the co-parasitic belief is no one loves me if I'm not being used. That's the first one. The other one is I need to be loved, so I have to use people so they'll love me. I have to use people to get them to love me. I'm going to say that so many times. I have to use people to get them to love me. That is narcissism. That's what's wrong with narcissists. They just have that core belief. They have that core love concept that no one's going to love them unless they're getting something out of them. It's really a really horrifically sad type of existence. Now, for the other side of that equation, it's the I have to be needed in order to be loved. So this is where this co-parasitic belief starts to feed codependency and it attracts narcissists. So the reason why you keep attracting narcissist after narcissist is because your subconscious mind keeps dumping out behavior that reflects this belief. And that belief is if I want someone to love me, I have to let them use me. I have to serve somebody. I have to be needed to be loved. You're confusing being used and loved as the same thing because you lack a definition of love. I say to people many times on this particular topic, you have no idea what love actually is. And people get very defensive and they get very argumentative. But then I sit down and explain it to them. Can you tell me what love is without the concept of serving, comfort, being used or needed? And they can't because they have no idea. I know this because I used to be codependent. I know this because I went through it. Because I went through 2 owners, 2 husbands, and then found a relationship and I went, what is this thing? And I realized through that relationship at 41 years old that that's actually what love is. I just hadn't seen it before. I hadn't seen it from my mother because my mother had never seen it. My mother knew that if she wanted someone to love her, she needed to be needed. My mother knew that if she wanted to be loved, she had to let people use her. So she taught that to me, my sister, my brothers, my other sister, everybody. And my father absolutely believes that you have to use them to get them to love you because they don't love him just naturally. My brother's the same way. So you have people forcing other people, manipulating them into loving you, quote unquote, but it's actually not love at all. It's an exchange of using people, which is why so many people in our society use people. So this is co-parasitic beliefs. And to break the cycle, you have to address the core problem, which is the toxic belief that you mistake the concept of needing and being used with love, which opens up the question now, what is love? Well, love is a feeling of celebrating the self. Love is 100% you. You are love. Think about a favorite coffee mug that you use, your favorite TV show. That's actually a celebration of you. That is you defining your identity. That's what love is. It is self-definition. That is what love is. Which is why when you find a parasitic relationship and you have this toxic belief, this toxic concept of love is when people use me, it becomes your identity. Love is your identity. So is it filled with toxic beliefs, toxic concepts of love, or is it filled with something that's actually nourishing and healthy? In most of us, it's not nourishing or healthy, and that's the problem. So that's parasitic or co-parasitic beliefs. The other one is the enabling belief. I'm going to talk about this a bit, but it's pretty much the same thing. As the empath assumes the role of the enabler. They're the ones who say, oh, you need me. I have purpose now. And that's very enabling. It's an enabling belief. So I guess you would call it a subcategory of the co-parasitic beliefs. Now, then there are the neutral beliefs. Neutral beliefs are beliefs that are just information that lack emotion. Now, here's my favorite part of all of this. You are not supposed to have an emotional response to any of your beliefs. None. If you have an emotional response to your beliefs, they're not beliefs. An emotional response to your belief is actually fear. You want to know if your belief is toxic? Does it evoke an emotion from you? If it evokes a powerful, strong emotion, it's not a belief. It is actually your fear system in disguise, supplanting a fictional future into your belief system. That is what a toxic belief is. If there is any emotion at all, it's not a belief. Beliefs are supposed to be neutral. Beliefs are supposed to be neutral. The emotion is supposed to come in with what you love and your ethics. Those are supposed to be emotional. Your love is supposed to be emotional. Now, you can either have love or you can have fear. If you have a love-based identity, then it's all going to be happy roses. It's awesome. It really is awesome. The sun is always shining. It's awesome. If you have a fear-based identity, then your ethics are going to be fear-based and your beliefs are going to be emotional and fear-based and very severe and intense. So your toxic beliefs are actually all coming from your identity. They're not coming from your abusers. They're coming from your love or lack thereof. So if it's emotional, it's actually because your fear system has, in disguise, embedded fictional futures into your fear system. Fictional futures are improbable fictions. It is the worst case scenario. The other type of beliefs, these ones are not toxic, are self-nurturing beliefs. This is where self-love comes in. Self-nurturing beliefs look like, I value, well, that's an ethic because we're back to value, aren't we? I value myself. I value myself. Actually, this is a really great example. I love me. I love me. I value myself because I love me. Do you see how this works? This is really awesome. So it's, I love me. Therefore, I value myself. God, we really need to study logic here, people, because this is logic 101. So I love me. Yay. So there's a celebration of me. And then as a consequence, I value myself. Because I value myself, I believe that I need to take care of myself. Now, there is no emotion at all linked to me wanting to take care of myself. Now I have a duty roster, things that I need to do to take care of myself. Things like, well, I want to make sure I have nutrition. I want to make sure that I sleep well. I want to make sure that I am safe. I want to make sure that my brain, my mind is healthy. These are not emotional, but these are beliefs. I believe I should have a good breakfast. I believe I should sleep well. I believe that I should prioritize my physical and mental safety. I believe that my mind is healthy. I believe that I need to do the work to make sure my mind is healthy. These are beliefs. And there's no emotion attached to them because they are steeped in an ethic. I value me. Because I value me, it's because I love me. I love me is where all the emotion is. I love me. But when you have fear-based, the fear immediately turns over, well, the fear is absolutely emotional because it's not a belief. And that's it, really. If you have fear-based beliefs, it's because it's coming from your fear system. Your fear system has lied to you because that's what they do. Its goal is to keep you safe. That's all it wants to do, is keep you safe. And the fear system is crafty because it's part of the subconscious mind. So the fear system has this skill of disguising itself, sneaking in, infiltrating the cognitive core, and then embedding false beliefs, fears, right into your belief system. and then convincing you that those are actually beliefs. They're not beliefs. They're not beliefs at all, because beliefs are unemotional. What you're actually dealing with are improbable fictions from a really crafty fear system. So what you really need to be doing is addressing what you're afraid of. That right there is where society is really fucking this up. Oh, you got to challenge those limiting beliefs. No, you don't. What you really need to know is figuring out what you're actually dealing with. This is what you're actually dealing with. You're actually dealing with improbable fictions from your fear system. You don't have to actually challenge any beliefs, because they're not beliefs. They're improbable fictions. And what you really need to be doing is confronting your fears, challenging your fears. When you challenge your fears, you locate the source of all of these. I'm going to give this to you. It's rejection. You're afraid of rejection. That's it. You are afraid of rejection. That's why you're doing this. That's why you don't look at your fears. It's because you have to have those fears to belong. That is what we called conditional belonging. Write that down. Conditional belonging is when your parents say to you, if you want a place in my house, if you want a chair at my table, you have to act like everybody else here. We don't do that at this house. What do you think you're doing? That implies that if you act like your authentic self, that you don't have a place to eat. This is my house, and these are my rules. Says, if you don't do what I say, you're going to be on the street. Now that's conditional love. That's not love at all. It's saying, I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you to project my identity onto you. And your job is to be used. And if you want love from me, then you're going to let me use you, or you can hit the road. That's conditional love. It is literally the invitation to use somebody. I need to just talk for 2 hours, I think, on this topic. Because once you get this in your head, once you realize this, your concept of toxic beliefs change. Your concept of fear systems change. Your concept of conditional belonging changes. And suddenly you realize your entire existence revolved around the condition that you had to be exactly like your parents or else, which tells you that love equals being the same. Love equals fitting in, and love equals being used. Those are your options. That's not love at all. So your entire life, your entire lifestyle, your entire existence revolves around these conditions. I need to take time sometimes when I do these lectures where I go, I need to process this. And if I need to process it, you probably need to process it too. So I'm just going to meditate for a minute, where I just deep breath in. It's a lot. It's really a lot. And in most of my videos, I'm articulating this stuff for the first time. And when I find a proper articulation, I go, whoa, that's big. I just need time to, holy shit, where do I go from here? Holy shit. Because I'm thinking about my own family, and I'm basically talking on what life was like for me as a child. And then I'm going, whoa, that's exactly how things were when I was a kid. That's what was wrong. And when you start at that point, and it just, and I love this. So this is it. This is my Back to the Future analogy. This is it. Are you ready for this? Back to the Future is the perfect analogy for PTSD. And I'll tell you why. This is where I wish I had my whiteboard. So I'm going to give a space here, and I'm going to pretend I can draw on the screen. So it is 1985, right? It's 1985, and this is the authentic you. And then your parents come along and give you all these conditions that if you want to live, if you want to eat, if you want to sleep, if you don't want to be fucking homeless, you have to live in 1955, which is actually their perspective, which is actually their conditional love. So you have to break off from 1985 and live in 1955 and go by their rules and their expectations and all of their conditions if you even want to fucking survive, right? Now, a lot of us had this split when we were 2, when we were 3. And if you hadn't figured it out by the time you were 5, oh, by the time you hit your preteens and your teenage years, oh, you would get the lesson loud and clear by then. That's the whole teenage years, is it's a standoff between 1955 and 1985, where you're sitting there saying, I am an authentic me. And your parents are going, this is my rules. This is my house. If you don't follow my rules, if you don't fucking conform, you can go find another place to live. I pay the bills. Oh my God. I'm an individual. Just because I'm your child doesn't mean you get to own me. But it does. We are taught that that's exactly what it means. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I remember Rachel. Oh my God, from Friends. I remember Rachel on the boat with Joey. And she goes, what the hell are you doing? Greens don't quit. We don't quit. And Joey says, I'm not agreeing. I'm a Tribbiani. And Tribbiani's quit. And she goes, oh my God, what did I just say? I was so busy trying not to become my mother that I became my father. God, that is it right there. Greens don't quit. That's it. Those are conditional belonging. So we malform, break, shape. Our subconscious mind goes to work because those conditions teach us one thing over and over again. It's not safe to be you. It's not safe to be 1985. You've got to be 1955 if you want to survive. They threaten our safety. Our parents, when they give us conditional belonging, they threaten our safety, our food supply, our environment, our home, our warmth, our shelter, our love. Yeah, that's really what they're doing. But these psychological truths, we are so fucking logical. As human beings, we are fucking logical. Our subconscious mind makes all these deductions for us inside of our heads faster than lightning. Our subconscious mind knows this shit. It's highly logical. That's all it is. It's just logical. The superego, the subconscious mind, is just logical. It does nothing else. It is just pure logic. So while our parents are saying all this shit to us, our subconscious mind is already making the connection. Oh, so you're threatening my shelter. You're threatening to take away my home. You're threatening to take away my clothes, my heat, my food, my water, my shelter. And you're my parent. The very people who are supposed to be nurturing and taking care of us are laying out conditions that if we don't be like them and let them use us, let them force us to conform to them, that they threaten our very livelihood and existence. So the subconscious mind goes, well, it's not safe. Suddenly it's not safe to be yourself. It's not safe to speak. It's not safe to communicate. It's not safe to exist. The only option, if you want to survive, is to become a spitting image of your parents. That is the damage done when you say children should be seen and not heard. That is the damage done when you say, my house, my rules. That is the damage done when you say to your children, we don't do that. That is the consequence. Our mental illnesses all stem from how we define love and how we define our lifestyles. Is it conditional or is it authentic? One moment. You are perfectly fine, sweetheart. I know you're signing it out. It's okay. My 15-year-old is grabbing the video games. And I have a sign out process like a library. Just sign it out so I can make sure that there's an even exchange of video games. And she's like sneaking. And it's like, you don't have to sneak. Like, it's okay. It's all right. So it's I think I have nothing more to say right now. This is a lot. How much time am I at? I'm at 35 minutes. Okay. I have to cover up when I have people watching, because the minute I find out if people are watching, my whole, well, that's being visible. I have a trauma response with being visible, so that if I think that somebody's watching me, my subconscious mind goes, it's not safe to be seen. Yeah, that's a good one. We need to talk about that one. It's not safe to be seen. So when I'm going to cry. That one hit me hard. It's not safe to be seen. That one's mine. That's mine. It's not safe to be seen, which is why I do podcasting, is to teach me that it's safe to be seen. So I cover up my timer on my thing so I can just focus on what I need to say. And as soon as my subconscious mind realizes that I'm being seen, my behavior changes. And that's why sometimes I'll be in the middle of something, and then every time I train, my thought derails. Every time I'm in the middle of something and I stop talking, this is great. This is fun subconsciousness stuff. So if you're in the middle of talking and you have a toxic belief of it's not safe to be seen, I need to write that down so I don't forget it. It's not safe to be seen. And this is why I write it down, because my subconscious mind interferes with my train of thought. When you have a disrupted train of thought, it's because your subconscious mind is trying to block you from the realization. It's trying to protect you. So for me, it's not safe to be seen. So I'll be sitting there trucking along with my concepts and my theories, but I'm going, I'm alone. I'm okay. This is why all of my chat conversation is turned off of my podcasts, because the moment I realize I'm being seen, I suddenly become a different person, because my subconscious mind puts a behavioral defense in front of that. So this is actually one of the things I'm working on. Is it is safe to be seen. It is safe to be seen. It's okay for people to see you. So that's how I'm working through this toxic belief. It's called exposure therapy. That's what my podcast is. It's exposure therapy. So as soon as I see it, my subconscious mind will derail a thought and immediately try and protect me. So that's a great example. Every time you have oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the word has escaped me. The word hasn't escaped you. Your subconscious mind is using amnesia to keep it away from you. Like when I forgot the word neglect is my problem. I don't have a problem with abandonment and rejection. I have a problem with being neglected. So every time I hit a word that my subconscious mind goes, oh, that's not safe, it will remove it from my memory, which is why I couldn't remember what I was saying yesterday. It took the word that I associate with danger away from me. And it wasn't until I felt safe again today that I was able to go, oh yeah, the word is neglect. And that's why I write it down, is because this is my way of getting around my subconscious mind, so my subconscious mind doesn't interfere with my work, which happens a lot because the subconscious mind is constantly jumping in to keep you safe, because that's all it does. So once you start to realize, and I'll have classes for this, I'm going to do this because this is awesome. Once you start to realize what your subconscious mind does to keep you safe, where do you lose thought? Where do you lose train of thought? Where do you lose memory? What words do you keep forgetting? That is 100% your subconscious mind going, oh, we got to keep you safe. And it's subtle. It's subtle. It's memory loss. It's forgetfulness. It's you putting down your keys somewhere and forgetting where they are. That is all the workings of your subconscious mind. And once you realize that it's you versus your subconscious mind, now that's powerful information that you can start using. So you can start reeling in your subconscious mind and disciplining it. The subconscious mind requires maternal soothing and nurturing and reassurance. Validation. Oh, see, I'm fighting with it again. I can feel it. Validation, empathy. I got to write it down because I can feel it right now. It's trying to It's validation, empathy, reassurance, and soothing. These are the 4 things that defeat fear. These are the 4 things. And it's not defeating fear. You cannot approach fear with aggression because that ignites the fear. Fear is so freaking beautiful. Fear is on a spectrum of calm and aggression. That is exactly what fear is. There's calm and there's aggression. And when there's aggression, danger, that's when fear is in full armor mode. That is 100% go to war. That is its war mode. So calm teaches, using the emotion calm teaches fear to strip off the defense. So when you reassure, hey, everything is okay, the fear goes, oh, wait, this is different. And when you say, it's okay, it is okay, and you bring your voice down, literally talk to your subconscious mind soothingly. Bring your subconscious mind, bring your voice down so your subconscious mind comes down. It's, yes, I understand that you're afraid. You don't want to be seen. You're afraid you'll be neglected again. It's okay. You're not the same person anymore. This is the validation. This is the empathy. The empathy is, you are right to feel this way. It's absolutely understandable that you would feel this way. That is justification. That is validating and empathetic, being empathetic. Yeah, I would feel that way too. You've been hurt. You've been neglected. So you're going to feel that way. That's a normal response. That's okay. I see you. And when you start to acknowledge that you are seeing your own fear, that's when the fear calms down. And the fear might come back and say something like, yeah, but I am scared. Yeah, you are scared. And it's okay. People can see you now. It's okay. And that calms down. And then your subconscious mind calms down. You settle into this beautiful place again where it's, I can be my authentic self. And that's, again, that's the war. It's, are you fighting your authentic self? Or are you trying, is your subconscious mind trying to get you back into the conditions? That's why we call it conditioning, because it's conditional. I got to write that down because my subconscious mind will take that away from me. Conditioning is the process of making it conditional. And that's how all of us were raised, conditioning. Authenticity has no conditioning to it. And that's how we're supposed to live, without any conditioning. We're supposed to be free of all conditioning. We're not supposed to live under the expectations of other people. The only expectation we should ever be living under is the expectation of ourselves. That's what conformity is. It's conditioning. And there's this massive push against the conformity of going, and we live in a conformist society. The whole damn system is nothing but conformity. Everyone's got to be the same. And we're screaming to be different. We're all running around going, but I'm a snowflake. I promise you I'm a snowflake. I swear to you I'm a snowflake. Look at me. Because we are that desperate to be seen differently. Because the conformity and us all walking around like we're exactly the same is killing us. We can't, we don't want it. And the illusion, the real crux of the delusion, is the people who are doing the conformity are the same ones screaming communism is bad. They are calling the kettle black. And we don't even know it. We don't even know it. You don't know it until you get to, well, stage 6 perspective. When you finally get to that point where you are so far away from the system that you start to realize the people who are screaming communism are the biggest communists. They're projecting. The whole damn thing is self-projection, which goes back to those beautiful limiting beliefs of they are projecting their problems onto you. They are making their problems all about you with your self-destructive beliefs, the I can't, I am. That's really all I've got for the types of toxic beliefs, co-parasitic or parasitic enabling beliefs. And then there's the self-destructive beliefs, the ones that are attacking yourself. There's also the ones that are directly linked to you attacking other people. That belief, I do want to go over that one, the parasitic belief, is basically the ethic. I know exactly what this is. I'm going to break this one. This is going to be so much fun. The ethical belief that your opinions that your autonomy is more important than the rights, the points of views, and the freedoms of another person. That is the parasitic belief that your opinion or your autonomy is more valuable, more important, prioritized over the rights, perspectives, and freedoms of other people. When you prioritize your own autonomy and your own perspective, your own desires, your own whatever, over the rights, perspective, freedoms of others, that's when you become abusive. That is abuse right there. That's it. No, all people who do this are narcissists, bullies. These are your stage 3 perspective people. Stage 3 perspective values autonomy above all else. And there are people who withdraw when they're in this stage because their ethic, do not harm people, is in place. So when you have the ethic, do not harm people, this is why people withdraw. And they value autonomy. They realize that they have the risk of harming people, which conflicts with their ethic. So they isolate. That's why people withdraw, because they value their autonomy and they think they will hurt other people. So they withdraw. And they never stop learning that concept. They never realize that just because they have autonomy doesn't mean they're going to hurt other people. And then you have people who don't have the ethic, do no harm. So those are the people who value autonomy, are stuck at valuing autonomy. They never see the value in law. They don't see the value in justice. They don't see the value in authority. They claim the authority and the autonomy for themselves, which is the third stage perspective. And they do it without any priority on your rights, your perspective, and your freedoms. These are the people who abuse us. This is why they abuse us. It's not personal. They abuse us because they prioritize their autonomy and their authority over your rights. Stay away from these people. Stay away from these people. In most cases, these people are our parents. In some cases, they are our siblings, or they are a teacher, or a religious leader, or a coach. These people, once you realize that a person prioritizes their autonomy and their authority over your own rights, perspective, and freedoms, now, without the ethic, do no harm. It's a gorgeous formula. It's literally a formula. An abuser is somebody who prioritizes autonomy and authority for themselves over the rights, point of views, and freedoms of other people. Without the ethic, do no harm. That's the formula. Those are your abusers. That is why you were abused. That is why you were hurt. And those people at some point felt threatened by you. Most likely, they wanted to feel in control. And so because they threatened you, because you were probably authentic, and that made them scared because they associate danger with authenticity, now they seek to control you to make sure you conform. But their method of control could be physical abuse, verbal abuse, or sexual abuse. And that is why we are abused. But we are so desperate to be seen, to be visible, that we go out of our way to hurt other people. I'm sorry, my subconscious mind is derailing me again. We go out of our way. I do not remember. My subconscious mind took it away from me. God damn it. They seek to control us. Oh, yes, I remember now. We go out of our way to be original. We go out of our way to be seen. We want to be seen. We're a snowflake, God damn it. And we're screaming, please see me. Please, I'm different. I'm not conforming. Now we're attracting people who are basically the conformist police. And that's it. They're the conformist belief, or the conformist police. So they feel threatened by people who aren't conforming. And that's where, oh, that's dangerous. I have to control that person. And how they control depends on what they use, what they were taught is associated with control. So really, your abuse has nothing to do with you. Your abuse has nothing to do with you. They made their abuse about you. And then they made you think that your abuse was all about you. So every time you ruminate on what was done to you, you are catering to the toxic belief that your abuse had anything to do with you. They projected their abuse onto you. We keep projecting our abuse onto other people. Abuse is a projection of a person's abuse. They're paying it forward. Just give me a minute. I just had a perspective shift. I just get it. Just give me a minute. My whole, I need a minute. We talk about paying it forward like it's a positive. We can pay it forward with a negative. That's what abuse is. Somebody abused them and they internalized it. Somebody projected their abuse onto you and somebody internalized it and then projected that abuse onto another person. And that person internalized it and they projected and paid it forward and projected their abuse onto another person. Stop paying it forward. If you have been abused, stop paying it forward. They abused you because they were projecting their own abuse onto you. It had nothing to do with you. It was all about them. Now, how do you feel? I feel fantastic. I felt like I just like whooped, like the whole thing just slid off my back and I went, all right, that was a heavy cloak. So much for that burden. I can burn that now. How do you feel? I need a minute. We are internalizing our abuse. I need to wrap it up here, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to marinate. I need a decompression. I'm going to start a video up right now and I'm going to decompress because that's what I need. I'm onto something. So I'm going to shut this video off because I'm up to like, what, 52 minutes? And if I go, ironically, if the video exceeds 30 minutes, people don't watch them. So I'm going to go ahead and do a decompression video because I'm at 52 minutes. So I'm going to shut this down and then I'm going to decompress, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to decompress with you. So join me on Shifting Perspectives. I'm going to take a 15-minute break. I need this. Yes, I need this. And I'm going to grab a coffee or a tea, and then I'm going to just chill out and do decompression. And then I'm going to talk about decompression because I need that right now. So I will see you shortly. Thank you so much. And for more shit like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. For more shit like this, subscribe to my newsletter. And for even more shit like this, you should join one of my masterclasses. Thank you so much. And the links are all below. May the kindest of words always find you.